The regular 2023-2024 football season is officially over. The winners and losers of the various competitions are known, and Euro 2024 is also in the books. In the new season, many new stories will unfold, but for that, we'll have to wait for FC 25. In this video, we'll look at ways to alter or match the history of the past season with 10 clubs that had remarkable seasons, both positively and negatively. At number 10, Sevilla, the southern Spanish club, which has been so successful in the Europa League multiple times, has had an incredibly difficult season. With a seemingly decent squad, they finished 14th in La Liga and lost the last 4 out of 5 matches. In the Champions League, they finished last in a group with Arsenal, PSV, and Lens, thus ending their European season early. In a year with high expectations, they fought against relegation and were humiliated in the Champions League with just 2 points from 6 matches. An ideal team to replay the season with and see what could have been. It's up to you whether to strengthen the squad before starting the season, but to truly test the potential of this group, it's more challenging to stick with the actual squad. Objectives for Sevilla: finish at least 3rd in the Champions League group stage to ensure European football in the winter. If you drop into the Europa League, aim for the victory. If you progress in the Champions League, try to reach the semi-finals. For La Liga, it's simple. Finish in the top 6 to secure at least a Europa League spot through the league, unless you win the Europa League, of course. At number 9, Southampton. The Saints were relegated from the Premier League to the Championship in the summer of 2023 and seem to have a long road ahead before returning to the Premier League, given the strong teams in the Championship. The Saints had a decent season, consistently being contenders in the fight for the championship, but never true favorites. They ultimately finished 4th in the championship and went into the well-known playoffs. Here, they defeated Leeds United in the final at Wembley, achieving promotion in the first year after relegation. Objectives for Southampton: match Southampton's last season and achieve promotion to the Premier League. Try to surpass the playoff performance by securing direct promotion. Adam Armstrong finished 2nd on the top scorers list with 24 goals. Improve this performance and ensure Armstrong becomes the top scorer with more than 24 goals. At number 9, you might also consider Ipswich Town. They secured direct promotion to the Premier League in their first year in the Championship. Ipswich Town had an excellent season, dominating from the start. With a strong squad and consistently good performances, they ultimately finished 2nd in the Championship, earning direct promotion to the Premier League. This achievement was particularly impressive because they accomplished it in their first season after promotion from League One. At number 8, we have Bologna. Under coach Thiago Motta, Bologna surprised both fans and critics by finishing 5th in Serie A, securing Champions League football for next year. With a relatively modest squad and a bold playing style, Bologna managed to perform consistently and exceed expectations. Their excellent season resulted in a historic achievement, as the club qualified for the Champions League for the first time in many years. In the Coppa Italia, Bologna also performed well by knocking out reigning champions Inter in the round of 16, although they lost to Fiorentina in the quarterfinals after penalties. Objectives for Bologna: Serie A, match or improve on last season's 5th place finish to secure Champions League qualification again. Coppa Italia, reach at least the semi-finals and aim to make it to the final through consistent performances. Attack and defense, improve the goal difference by scoring more goals and conceding fewer compared to last season. Bologna only scored 54 goals last season. Set a target of at least 65 goals. 2 potential alternatives for Bologna are Fiorentina and Atalanta. Both teams reached a European final. Fiorentina lost the Conference League final to Olympiacos, and Atalanta won the Europa League by defeating the previously unbeaten Bayer Leverkusen. At number 7, we have Stuttgart. In the 2022-23 season, Stuttgart finished 16th in the Bundesliga and narrowly escaped relegation through the playoffs. Their performance in the 2023-24 season was all the more impressive as they finished 2nd, at a respectable distance behind Leverkusen, but ahead of powerhouses like defending champion Bayern Munich and Champions League finalist Dortmund. This was a remarkable achievement and one certainly worth reliving. Stuttgart's strength lay in their solid defense. Only Leverkusen conceded fewer goals last season. Objectives for Stuttgart: relive the season with Stuttgart by finishing at least 2nd again, but aim to challenge for the German title. Stuttgart fell short of Leverkusen in terms of goals scored. They scored 78 goals. aim to surpass this by scoring more than 85 goals. Make Guirassy the top scorer of the Bundesliga. He fell 8 goals short of Harry Kane last season with 28 goals. Aim to surpass this. For number 6, we head to the other end of the table, to Luton Town. Unfortunately, Luton Town was relegated from the Premier League after just 1 year. 10 years ago, Luton Town returned to English League football after 5 years in the non-league National League. Less than 10 years later, this fairy tale brought them to the Premier League. Unfortunately, they fell 6 points short of staying up, but they finished very respectably above Championship champions Burnley and Sheffield United. Luton played entertaining matches and managed to surprise several top clubs, but it was ultimately not enough. Objectives for Luton. The main objective is, of course, to stay in the Premier League. Luton conceded a lot of goals, namely 85. Aim to keep this number under 70. In the FA Cup, Luton was knocked out in the 5th round by Manchester City. Aim to reach at least the quarterfinals. For number 5, we see another team with a season outcome that was extremely disappointing. Juventus. The old lady finished 3rd in Serie A this year. That doesn't sound too bad, but the gap to champions Inter was a staggering 23 points, and there was little for Juventus fans to cheer about. As always, Juventus's defense was solid, conceding only 31 goals. Only Inter conceded fewer. However, Juventus struggled to score goals, managing only 54 goals throughout the entire Serie A season, the fewest among the top 6. Top scorer, Dusan Vlahovic, finished 2nd on the top scorers list, but did so with only 16 goals. Objectives for Juventus: achieve at least 85 points in Serie A and compete for the Italian title against the Milan clubs. Break through the Italian defensive walls and score more than 80 goals in Serie A compared to the 54 they actually scored. Juventus lost the Coppa Italia final to Atalanta. Reach this final again and win it this time. For number 4, we can't choose between 2 English giants who are in a similar situation. Both clubs are trying to find their identity again and went into the 23-24 season with high expectations and corresponding expenditures. Both Manchester United and Chelsea spent huge amounts of money in the summer of 2023 to challenge for the English title, but both teams failed painfully. Chelsea seemed to secure European football by finishing the season relatively strong, going unbeaten in their last 9 matches and winning 6 of them. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough for Coach Pochettino to keep his job. Manchester United's season was marked by inconsistency, alternating between hopeful performances and dramatic failures. Manchester United finished in a historically low 8th place in the Premier League, but ended the season with an FA Cup victory over Manchester City. At the time of writing, it is still unknown whether Coach Ten Hag will keep his job, but there is no doubt that next year must be better. Objectives for both Chelsea and Manchester United. These giants should not finish outside the top 4 with such expenditures. Ensure you finish within the top 4. Both teams struggled to score goals. Provide flair and entertainment by scoring more than 85 goals in the Premier League. Both teams lost more than 10 matches. Ensure you lose fewer than 10 matches. For the last 3 spots, we've chosen 3 teams that performed exceptionally well in the 23-24 season. All 3 finished far above what was expected of them in their leagues and managed to maintain their performance throughout the season. Without further ado, number 3, Girona. Girona finished the season in 3rd place in Spain, just behind Barcelona, an incredible achievement for a club that was playing in the 2nd tier of Spanish football just 2 years ago. They finished ahead of Champions League clubs like Atletico Madrid and Real Sociedad. A remarkable performance, especially with their prolific goal scoring. They scored an impressive 85 goals in La Liga, a feat only bettered by league champions and Champions League winners Real Madrid. Girona can be proud of this accomplishment, especially with Artem Dovbyk finishing as the top scorer in La Liga with 24 goals. Objectives for Girona. Match Girona's achievement by finishing in the top 3 again. Score even more goals with Dovbyk. Aim for 30 goals and finish as the top scorer. Finish above Barcelona to complete this remarkable achievement. Then at number 2, we have Aston Villa. We must say that the difference between Aston Villa's performance and that of Girona is not significant, but ultimately, we find what Aston Villa achieved this season to be slightly more impressive, finishing above teams like Manchester United, Chelsea, Tottenham, and Newcastle United in a highly competitive league like the Premier League, despite their massive spending power, is an incredible feat. Additionally, Aston Villa had a strong run in the Conference League, putting in excellent performances before being knocked out in the semi-finals by eventual winners Olympiacos. By finishing fourth in the Premier League, Aston Villa has guaranteed themselves Champions League football for next season. With Unai Emery leading the first team, the future looks bright for Aston Villa. Objectives for Aston Villa: relive Aston Villa's incredible Premier League performance from last season by finishing fourth or better. Ollie Watkins had a breakout season by scoring 19 goals in the Premier League. Surpass this by scoring more than 25 goals with Watkins. A fantastic Conference League campaign ended with a tough loss to Olympiacos. Set this right by reaching the Conference League final. And at number 1, it can only be one team. People might be tired of hearing the name by now, but this historic season cannot be left unmentioned at the top. We are, of course, talking about Bayer Leverkusen. Under the guidance of Xabi Alonso, the team underwent a true transformation. In the 22-23 season, Leverkusen finished 6th with 50 points. Now, a year later, they finished the Bundesliga unbeaten with 90 points and as rightful champions of Germany. Additionally, they also won the German DFB Pokal and reached the Europa League final. It was the very first league title in the history of the German club, and they did so by becoming the first club in the Bundesliga to not lose a single match. Moreover, across all European competitions, they went an astonishing 51 matches without losing an official game, a worldwide record and an incredible achievement. How could you not want to try this challenge in FC24? Their remarkable run only ended in the Europa League final against the aforementioned Atalanta Bergamo. Objectives for Leverkusen: relive their incredible season and try to win the Bundesliga and DFB Pokal unbeaten. This will be a tough task in FC24, where the AI can sometimes possess magical powers. Additionally, aim for glory in the Europa League and right the wrong of the final by winning it and thus completing the treble. Improve the goal tally from 89 goals to 100 or more to add extra shine to the season. And with Bayer Leverkusen, we've reached the end of our list of teams whose seasons are worth replaying in FC24. Did we miss a team that had a huge missed opportunity or one that performed exceptionally well? Make sure to leave your team in the comments below the video. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.